Water failure does not begin with thirst. It begins with contamination that cannot be seen, smelled, or tasted, and by the time symptoms appear, exposure has already occurred. In every large-scale emergency documented across modern history, from earthquakes to hurricanes to extended power outages, the most dangerous threat after infrastructure collapse has not been fire, violence, or hunger. It has been unsafe water. When municipal systems fail, when pumps stop moving water through pipelines, when treatment facilities lose power or pressure stability, the invisible boundary between safe and deadly water disappears almost instantly. And once that boundary fails, survival becomes a race not just to find water, but to make water safe before the human body begins to shut down. Municipal water systems are engineered under the assumption that pressure will remain constant and treatment processes will operate continuously. Clean water does not simply appear at household taps through gravity alone. It is pushed through complex networks using electrically powered pumps that maintain pressure across miles of pipelines. Treatment facilities depend on chemical dosing systems, sedimentation tanks, filtration beds, and controlled disinfection stages to remove bacteria, parasites, heavy particles, and organic contamination. When power fails, these systems do not gracefully degrade. They lose pressure, allowing contaminated groundwater and surface runoff to infiltrate through microcracks and joints that normally remain sealed under positive pressure. This process is known in engineering as backflow contamination, and it is one of the most overlooked hazards during prolonged outages. Backflow contamination transforms entire distribution networks into potential carriers of disease. Without sufficient pressure, bacteria from soil, sewage intrusion, and floodwater infiltration migrate into drinking water lines. In flood conditions, wastewater systems can overflow into freshwater pathways, mixing pathogens such as E. coli, Giardia, Cryptosporidium, and Vibrio species into municipal pipelines. These microorganisms are microscopic but lethal in sufficient concentrations. They multiply rapidly in warm, stagnant water environments, especially when chlorine residuals decline due to halted treatment cycles. The water may remain visually clear, but clarity does not equal safety. Most microbial threats exist at concentrations invisible to the naked eye, requiring filtration and disinfection to remove them effectively. The human body depends on water not only for hydration, but for metabolic stability. Dehydration begins within hours when intake decreases, but waterborne illness accelerates physiological breakdown even faster. Severe diarrhea, vomiting, and electrolyte loss can reduce functional capacity within a single day. In emergency environments where medical access is limited, even mild gastrointestinal infections can escalate into life-threatening dehydration, particularly among children and older adults. Emergency medicine recognizes water sanitation as one of the highest priority interventions in mass casualty planning, not because it is dramatic, but because it is consistently lethal when ignored. The most dangerous misconception in survival preparation is the assumption that access to water equals access to safe water. Rivers, lakes, ponds, and even rooftop rainwater collection systems can appear abundant during crises, yet these sources are frequently contaminated by environmental runoff, decaying organic matter, agricultural chemicals, and biological waste. After infrastructure disruption, contamination levels increase dramatically because protective barriers collapse. Industrial facilities may leak chemicals into waterways. Stormwater carries pollutants from roads and urban surfaces. Animal populations displaced by disaster conditions concentrate around limited water sources, increasing biological contamination load. The result is a water environment far more hazardous than normal operating conditions. Water filtration systems exist to solve this problem, but their effectiveness depends on understanding the science of filtration stages and contaminant categories. Not all filters remove all hazards. Particle filtration removes sediment and visible debris, but microscopic pathogens often pass through unless specialized membranes are used. Chemical contaminants such as chlorine byproducts, pesticides, and heavy metals require adsorption materials capable of binding dissolved molecules. Biological contaminants require pore sizes small enough to physically block microorganisms or chemical processes capable of neutralizing them. The concept that separates reliable water purification from ineffective filtering is known as multi-barrier treatment. Instead of relying on a single filtration stage, effective systems combine multiple processes that target different categories of contaminants. This layered approach mirrors municipal treatment facilities, but scaled to portable or household-level equipment. Sediment removal protects downstream filters from clogging. Activated carbon reduces organic compounds and improves taste. Ultrafiltration membranes remove bacteria and protozoa. Chemical